Once I lived the life of a millionaire, spending my money, I didn't care. I carried my friends out for a good time, buying bootleg liquor, champagne and wine. Then I began to fall so low. I didn't have a friend and no place to go. So if I ever get my hand on a dollar again, I'm gonna hold on to it till them eagles grin. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. In my pocket, not a penny, and my friends, I haven't any. But if I ever get on my feet again, then I'll meet my long-lost friend. It's mighty strange without a doubt. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. I mean when you're down and out.
Hello world, we are back with more Bioshock 2, and we are in Papa's Drop. To get some stuff out of the way right off the bat, I'm going to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll do it now so that we don't have to do it for the rest of the video. And with that, let's get back to the action.
Suspended until he is found. Remember, the enemy is alone. We are the family.
Lab's trying to box us in, kid. This is a goddamn citywide lockdown. To keep the train moving, you need the security override key from the local governor, Grace Holloway. She kicked me out of my own hotel down here, the Sinclair Deluxe. Find her and get that key.
So Bioshock 2 does this kind of theme thing where the train has to stop at each station and something has to cause the train to move forward along for you. And this one is just a basic lockdown. The governor, for some reason, is able to lock this train facility from way over yonder, and the only way I can unlock it is by having a key that she is holding and put it into the station thing, which is right in front of us now. As to why I can't hotwire it, who knows? But then we wouldn't have much of a story, so let's go and take on Grace Holloway and see what she's got planned for us. You gotta give props to Bioshock 2. You're always terrified of the Big Sisters, whereas the Big Daddies are a kind of neutral threat, and the Splicers are just as mortal as you are and have to contend with all the things that come with being in an underwater city. The Big Sisters can defy all of those rules, teleport, and pretty much do whatever they want, so they're always a looming threat, even though once you play the game you know the mechanics and how they work. Hey look, some kind of cult is here. I want to shoot him. What do you see ahead? Dr. Lamb can help you plan for the future. Now I gotta hand it to the writers of Bioshock 2 to convert a total utopian paradise of the ideals of capitalism and the self and kind of sticking to your own, your kids, the people around you, and then to go on this altruistic, everyone is together, you know, everyone's chained and bound together. It's not an easy task to completely convert an entire society like that, even if it's in fiction, and make it believable. But I totally believe that everyone has drinking the Kool-Aid together on this, And it's really nice to see. I don't think a modern game could pull that off, to be honest.
I remember you, monster. You stole Eleanor from me. Twisted that baby girl into a thing so sick it can't even die. And now you come swanning into my neighborhood looking for me. Wrong turn, Tin Daddy. When we hang you from a street light and you choking out your last, I want you to remember my face.
Unlike the first Bioshock, this Bioshock has, of course, the two moral decisions. Saving and harvesting the Little Sisters is one, and then the next one is what we do with some of the antagonists that are in our way. We have the option here to either kill or save Grace Holloway. And I think I'll decide that based on her backstory and actions and whether or not I think she's someone who deserves to live or die. Rather than deciding based on my morality whether this makes me a good or a bad person, I'll decide it whether or not, just flat out, whether or not she should live or die. Because in an anarchical hellhole like this, I literally am judge, jury, and executioner on this. So, let's be that. Right off the bat, though, I'm going to say she's probably going to be allowed to live because it's the vengeful parent dynamic, which is very similar to the dynamic that my character has already, and you really can't knock a woman for wanting to avenge her child.
My folks lived in the St. Louis Hooverville in 32, and the drop is worse by a mile. Nobody's supposed to live down here. City pissing on us. Never try. Ryan doesn't care, and Fontaine's a damn crook. But Dr. Lamb cares. We're still people to her. She's offering free mental counseling on Sundays. When I go, I get the feeling she's got a plan for Rapture. And for me.
So, by Grace Holloway's own admission, she knows that Sophia Lamb is manipulating people who are poor and desperate and are down here in the worst conditions of Rapture. She knows that Sophia Lamb is turning out not the best version of themselves, but is inciting the same kind of political activism and stuff that you'd expect from brainwashing people who are trying to take over Rapture. So she knew that this was possibly an outcome of her going along with Sophia Lamb from the start. And that means she is responsible for everything Sophia Lamb does after that, including the kidnapping of children, which is her supposed entire justification for being so angry at me. And that is a serious mark against her. So, the prospect of actually killing Grace Holloway is looking better than I thought it would be.
Religious rites, Doctor? You're free to kneel before whatever tribal fetish you favor, in the comfort of your own home. But in Rapture, liberty is our only law. A man's only duty is to himself. To imply otherwise, therefore, is criminal.
Ask yourself, Andrew, what is your great chain of progress but a faith? The chain is a symbol for an irrational force guiding us towards ascension. No less mystic than the crucifixes you seize and burn.
I actually love both of these arguments. Now keep in mind I'm coming at this from the view of an atheist, so I don't really respect religion purely on the ideals of it being a religion. I respect it on the ideals of that people hold it. And if you are a true libertarian, you should respect that people can have weird fetish beliefs in stuff. They can have that. But Andrew Ryan is arguing that by pushing those in public, you're implying some kind of authority over the people of Rapture, and that is unacceptable by Rapture's own laws. Sophia Lamb dodges it by saying, oh, but our ideals are in that of a faith. Because we say them and because we believe in them, that means that they're just as mystic and religious. But no, Andrew Ryan's ideals are not mystical. They're not some magic fairy man in the sky. They're more of an observation and a catchy tune than an actual faith. But of course, Sophia Lamb is very good at subverting that. I just love both sides of that argument. It's actually really good.
Bienvenido a la Modernito.
It's too cold.
In the first Bioshock game, I got the pump-action shotgun. Now, I have the double-barrel shotgun. And I gotta say, knowing that both shotgun types exist down here in Rapture, and that I can wield weapons that aren't physically attached to my body, like a double-barrel shotgun, it really makes me want an inventory. I know this is a basic scroll wheel shooter, arcade-style game. It's more simple and it's meant to be that way, but I hope in the next Bioshock game, they decide to diversify a little bit. Maybe give you an inventory, let you carry some alcohol that you can drink and stuff, and some different health packs. That would be a better way of doing a Bioshock game, in my opinion.
Let me go first.
You would expect that down here at the bottom of the ocean, against the first Bioshock where you were more above the city and looking out at the big landscape, there'd be less to see outside the windows. But I always find weird little things to look at outside the windows in the second Bioshock game. And I just find that so special and amazing. It's just so much fun to look out the windows and try and figure out where you can see out there.
Says piss off and die, Tim Shivers.
Well, sport, I guess Gracie's home. But that big lug just dropped half my damn hotel in your way. Now, to break through that mess, I expect you're gonna have to work out how he got so burly. Find yourself a genetic research camera, son. You can pick up any number of tricks from a splicer with one of those. Try the pawn shop downtown.
So, the difference between the genetic research camera in this Bioshock and the other one in the last Bioshock is this one needs no film, because it was honestly a waste of time to even make you get film in the first Bioshock. You always had plenty on hand. And this one is, of course, a movie camera, in which, rather than just getting in a splicer's face and taking the photo, you actually have to perform things in front of the camera to get it to work more effectively and to spit out prizes. And I actually really like that, because it means that distance doesn't matter as much, and you can actually use some of your long-range loadouts when taking pictures.
Leave me alone!
Birds just talk to me.
Can I come out to play again, Mr. B?
Cut you down to size. I'm gonna... Yeah! Oh!
Because we're not done.
Yeah! Don't move!
I really love the big thug splicer guys, the huge meatheads. I'm actually surprised they didn't have them in the first game, although I did see some early concept art for such a splicer in the first game. I guess now everyone in Rapture is actually willing to turn themselves directly into monsters in order to survive, and I really like that. I just wish wish this place was a lot bigger. It's really small now that I'm thinking about it, just from a gameplay perspective. This little down under area doesn't feel like an entire district of a city. It feels more like a single block, because everything is just attached to each other, and every single little area is the important area you need. There are no vestigial areas you can just explore in between. I just wish this place was bigger.
Use that code you found on the keypad outside the clinic. Should get you up on the rooftops.
This is it. It's over. I built this railroad from nothing. Played by Mr. Ryan's rules. But then he asks me to sink my own cash reserves into the banks to give Rapture some breathing room. And now Austin goddamn Bathysphere wants to buy me out. Decommission the entire rail. I have no family, and no time for friends. I am the Atlantic Express. And this is the end of the line.
Oh boy, another excuse for me to rant on about trains like a crazy person. Okay, so this guy is the one who built this huge monorail system that carries people around Rapture, their subway cars on tracks.
What do they expect? You keep enough drug stash in this clinic to splice up a rhinoceros. Of course every poor soul in the drop's gonna start beating down your door. It's my job to think up a new key code to keep them out. Seems like every other day now. Nuts. I'll mull it over for a while at the Fishbowl Diner.
Yeah, I already found your code, no one cares about you. So, these giant rail cars that go underwater, they're also submarines. They're basically the same thing as the bathysphere, except they carry many people. They're not a personal little pod. And the bathysphere is his main competitor. Now, Ryan shut down the bathyspheres during the whole war thing, but there's no evidence to say that he did shut down the rail cars. If this railroad owner guy had simply marketed them as the cheaper solution in Rapture and an absolute necessity for getting the working class people moving to where they were going, it's likely he wouldn't have had to accept any sort of buyout from the bathyspheres. He could have always just marketed that this was the working man's solution, the everyman solution, and that the bathyspheres were mostly a luxury or a pompous thing to do. I feel like he was in greater standings than he probably realized he was, and focusing on high-end flag coaches and the likes of Andrew Ryan to ride his railroad was probably a bad business move in the end. Because for moving cargo and freight, I don't see how else I would get it done, other than his big old trains. We got a power to the people station, and I am upgrading the rivet gun. Heck yeah.
Well, this isn't so bad at all. Quaint, earthy. All right then. Station lays far beyond your means.
Another day, no clients. Atlas and Ryan start going at it hot and heavy, and all my business dries up. It used to be easy. Put the eye on some spliced-up dame's wandering husband and rake in the dough. Now it's got so bad I had to put my camera and hawk at King Pawn. Makes a guy consider splicing up himself. If I had 2 dimes to rub together, that is.
Silent alarm! I really don't feel like doing the voice anymore, so I'm probably not going to do this very much. But yeah, silent alarm does the whole alarms are quieter, blah 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 blah. That dude's voice recording, though, about putting his camera into King Pawn, I've already seen the pawn shop and I've already been told that the camera's there. Just the level layout and design has forced me to find this after figuring out where the camera is. So I feel like the designers of the game, because this place just isn't big enough, we're forced to put that in the wrong location. That's one of the reasons I always say that Bioshock just feels too small and cramped. It feels like it could have been a much bigger game. Maybe not at the time when it was made, but now if I were to get a game exactly like this, I would definitely want it to be bigger. Because you'd get less of those wasted opportunities where there is no way I would find that clue recording and go, I need to find King Pawn. Before Sinclair shouts it at me at the top of his lungs, "There's the camera, go get it." Also, I think Sinclair is babysitting me a little bit too much.
Still out! Ridiculous! Ridiculous! Ah! Sunshine.
Now, Eleanor, Mummy has to go away for a while. You shall be staying with Aunt Gracie.
Mommy, don't go.
Eleanor, you are better than that. Do you remember what I told you?
I am very special.
That's right. And what else?
I was born to change the world.
Yes. And when Mummy returns home, the world will be very different indeed. She will make it ready for you.
Normally, when I'm reviewing the tapes from Sophia Lamb, I'm giving some kind of view of morality and basic right and wrongs and stuff, but this is just a flat-out, don't do that. Don't put the weight of the world on your child like they are meant to be some great leader one day. Regardless of whoever you are, that doesn't necessarily mean that your child can bear that pressure or weight. So how about not? But, it just shows what kind of a manipulative person that Sophia Lamb is, and how much she disregards her own child's existence, along with the existence of every other person on Earth. So, moving on then.
Endorsement. For this? Don't make me carry you. Acting? Yeah, I will. Oh dear. Ugh.
Don't dilly-dally, Mr. Hurry.
More Bettys. Gotta find me more Bettys. Carry on the family name. What the fuck?
All gone now. I wonder if they missed their mama.
Dr. Lamb, Sophia, I came down here to sing and to start a family, but I just don't fit with these people. Look at you. You fit with them.
Grace, in Ryan's rapture, I am the pariah. You and I share unpopular ideas, but I wonder, how devoted are you to the rapture people? If you wish to know more, wear this butterfly brooch at our next session. If not, no harm done. We shall never speak of it again.
So, the butterfly pendant is a reference to the paper clips used in World War II. Since this game takes place after World War II, I would have to say that all the characters in-game would know that reference because World War II is so horrific and probably observed by all parties that are now in Rapture. So by knowingly putting that pendant on herself, she says, I am now part of a political movement against Ryan and his version of Rapture, and we're going to establish Sophia's version. But Sophia's version is so much worse than Andrew Ryan's, and Gracie is still just hook, line, and sinker on Sophia Lamb's Kool-Aid. She's doing nothing to help the people of Rapture, and instead completely dedicated to this grand experiment, even to the extent of kidnapping children from the surface. I would say that if I find a recording of Gracie knowing that Sophia Lamb is kidnapping people from the surface and that she's okay with it, then she would be absolutely guilty, and that would be damning evidence to her needing to be killed.
That thing's a miracle in Technicolor, kid. Works like a movie camera. Start the film rolling before you open fire on a splicer, and then anything you hit him with tells you more about his DNA. Let's give it a dry run, shall we? Easy now. Looks like you got the jump. on this fella. Start your cam. That's it, son. Camera spits out a prize once in a while as you learn what makes a splicer tick. Now, find one of those big old brutes and take him out on film. Before long, you'll be able to brush aside that mess at the hotel.
Okay, I'm not going to force you to watch me go crazy with the camera on every single splicer, because I'm going to flat out look for people to film with the camera until all the research is done, so I'm going to skip ahead to when I'm done doing that.
Adam, Daddy, here.
Family, that monster has taken another of our babies for his own. Tin Daddy is hollow like a jail cell that needs filling, and he will never let her go.
Remember,
unless
son,
you
without using that
give me
research
down.
camera, we can't get to Gracie, and that means we're stuck here. Get one of those big apes on film, then we'll him over.
I was talking during all of the little sister harvests for what I would think a new Bioshock game would look like, but mostly I don't feel like doing it anymore. So instead, I'm just going to skip most of these grindy portions in which I'm constantly defending the little sisters. It's just not interesting, and I don't have that much to talk about.
Daddy, I'm telling the other girls that I have the best daddy.
We found Adam, Daddy. And just remember,
The
Mom.
monster has taken another of our children, family. He would turn her from us just as he did to Eleanor. Show this thing what befalls the boogeyman when he steps into our garden.
Daddy, are you taking me home too? Unzip him, Mr. B! Unzip him! I'm
Is that
always
too much
safe
to
with
ask?
Dad.
This Lamb woman's powers of manipulation are almost scary. Her people are using the girls from the surface to gather Adam from Lamb's followers. It's in the blood. And eventually they give themselves over. Like dying is an honor. I'd almost feel sorry for them if they didn't have my daughter. I'm going to find Lamb and take Cindy back one way or another.
That dude is truly the main character of his own game. I am nothing compared to his glory, because he is just a normal guy, brute forcing his way through Rapture, and he doesn't have any genetic modifications benefiting him like in the first game, and he ain't in a big daddy suit like me. He's just a dude out for looking for his daughter. I like him. I like that dude.
What do you find on you?
The bank sent you, didn't they?
Camel fight.
where angels fall from love.
Daddy, you always save me from the monsters.
There's one of those big goons now. Start your camera rolling on him, and then let him have it.
Shake's gonna watch me do your son.
That child, you monster!
Look at you, sport. A regular junior shutterbug. And it appears you've picked up a new trick from that big galoot. Now get back to the Sinclair Deluxe and just bust through that mess blocking your way.
Here, Father, it's yours. You are evolving fast, but your heart is getting weaker. I can keep you alive, but you must find me. Hypnotize your foes. Laugh as they fight each other.
Now let those deranged fools! I'm smart. This girl's tougher than you.
How about a scary throw, little fire?
We have a power to the people station, and although I'm definitely going to upgrade the drill's fuel efficiency and damage, I don't think I'm going to give the reflection ability, just because projectiles in this game are really not that bad to deal with, and I feel like it would be better suited on another weapon. But I am going to upgrade the drill for now, because I want to smash stuff.
That's it. We have to close down the limbo. Bomb goes off in that fancy place uptown and everybody panics. Pulls their money out of the banks. A whole city tugging on the same dollar bill. So the banks fold. And maybe 1 in 10 got their savings out. Who's gonna come hear me nightingaling about how broke they are? How am I gonna provide for little Eleanor?
So this tape isn't very helpful for me for deciding whether or not Gracie is a good or a bad person, but it does help show how desperate she was after Sophia Lamb got locked up. Of course, to answer her question, as she is clearly an influential person down here in the slums, I would heavily suggest sending some thugs up to that train area, because that's the only access down here to the slums is through that train car. I would heavily suggest putting some people and guards up there to make sure neither Fontaine nor Ryan's men are able to enter the slum area. Claim this as a kind of safe haven so that you attract a couple more people, and focus on a microeconomy in which you try to provide for yourselves. They're already separatists, they already don't believe in the rest of the world, why not cut off the rest of Rapture as well, at least temporarily? And then once the slums gets back on its feet a little bit, then you can start negotiating with the rest of Rapture if they stabilize, and your model could probably spread to the rest of Rapture as well. Andrew Ryan would probably give you trouble, but that is the only solution I could think of to that problem.
I'm hearing rumors. Sounds like somebody named Wales is starting up worship services down in Siren Alley. Believe it or not. All faiths and creeds welcome, they says. They got big promises. Salvation, immortality, a way out of here. I don't care how crazy it sounds. A way out of Rapture's music to my ears. Next Sunday morning, I'll be there.
I can smell it, Interloper.
You got no creed, you uncrazy rat. He's nicer than other daddies.
Do you remember what you told me, Bill? A marketplace of ideas. That was you. If I submit to the debates with Lamb, we defang her. I've done so. And have you been to Pauper's Drop, Bill? Listen. Between each song, these Oblomovs hand out her manifesto. Her face adorns every wall. Saint Lamb. You made her, McDonough. And now, you will convince the council to sponsor her silence.
So we see Ryan playing a little dirty. He's willing to confront the Sophia Lamb situation down here in the slums, but rather than doing it publicly, like he probably should do, he's instead wheeling and dealing and getting the council to silence her in the shadows, which ultimately will backfire because it only makes her more powerful when she comes back into the limelight.
Boy, come quickly,
For Grace, the paradise of Andrew Ryan was most unkind. She spoke against him in song, and he had her blacklisted. It left her penniless. But in the family, she has found hope, a reason to draw breath. Ask yourself, Delta, do you deserve to take it from her?
I wish I could publish this stuff. It's newsman pay dirt. Sinclair says Ryan's making a move against Sophia Lamb, and they want to cut me in on the action. They're building a case that Lamb's a closet pinko, sort of an undercover thing. So I cozy up to this guy Wales, who works for Lamb, making like I want to join up. Then I find out whether he grew his beard for Jesus or Karl Marx.
So then, let's go ahead and answer Sophia Lamb's question. She has framed it as if the only reason that Gracie was blacklisted and disparaged by Rapture was because of the lyrics she chose to sing in her song, when actually that's not the truth. We just learned from Ryan himself that the real reason she was targeted was because of her affiliation with Sophia Lamb, and her past affiliation with a man who was trying to act against Ryan. She is ultimately not Ryan's main target. She's just simply in the wrong place at the wrong time and around the wrong people when Ryan is targeting people. Sophia Lamb is well aware of this, but is willing to use Gracie in all of her assets to try and forward her own ideals. So I would say that that's actually a point to letting Gracie live, as she is ultimately a pawn in Sophia Lamb's machinations. Okay, so let's talk about that big sister fight and why I came out of it completely unscathed just about. First of all, I put a Big Daddy between me and her. Very smart. Big Daddies are affected by the game's difficulty rating, and as the game gets harder, you actually can take on these big sisters easier by hiding behind Big Daddies, because they will be more equipped to take her down. On an easy mode, she would have ripped that Big Daddy in half. Also, I managed to get lucky and the splicers didn't pop out next to the big sister. Instead, they popped out next to me and I could kill them quickly. You have to stop her from drinking the splicers because she will heal back to full life on every splicer she manages to drink. And you cannot run around the level like a madman because she'll just keep healing up and healing up. You have to get her cornered. So all in all, that was a very easy big sister fight, but because I had so many extenuating circumstances falling in my favor, and of course I did not tank any damage from her because a big sister can easily down the player. So yeah, that was fun.
Just rev up that drill of yours and slam right through that pile of junk blocking your way.
I have been waiting for this moment for so long. Yes.
Now Gracie was on the top floor. Get on up there and persuade her to give you that override key.
I know it's wrong to feel so fine right now, but I can't seem to quit this grin. Dr. Lamb came to tell me that Ryan's finally gonna lock her up. It's gonna gut the believers, and I should feel the same. But Sophia remembered that I was barren, and she asked me to take care of her baby while she's gone. Baby Eleanor Lamb. Gorgeous, clever little girl. I have a child now, and it's gonna put the whole world all right.
This is actually another point in Gracie's favor, because it shows that she is clearly of a vulnerable mental state and has been ever since she learned that she could not herself have children. She feels as though her life has no intrinsic value if she cannot raise the next generation. And having Sophia Lamb trust her with her own child is making her extra devoted to Sophia Lamb's cause when she should be honestly only devoted to Sophia Lamb's child if she's truly going to take on this motherhood role. So it shows that she is much more mentally vulnerable than anyone realizes, and Sophia Lamb is more than happy to take advantage of that. So that's another point for Gracie.
Oh, Joe.
Watching you hurt shouldn't give me such a lift, monster. But I'm not as clean on the inside as the doctor. I'll take my joy where I can.
You would think that Gracie's sadistic joy of trying to take me down would be a point against her, but actually it's a point for her because it shows her mental state and it shows that she truly sees this as nothing more than an opportunity to avenge her child, which I'm not going to hold against her that hard. Also, I found a power to the people machine, and that is awesome, but I think I'm going to do a shotgun upgrade because drill fuel in this level is infinite and I can always upgrade the drill's efficiency later.
Another day waiting for Harry to come home. I told him not to speak up against Mr. Ryan's policies, and now he's missing. Just never came home. I went by the bookstore, and all his books are gone too. I don't know what to do. Now I have to deal with that awful Sinclair just to have a roof over my head.
This recording is pretty much just beating a dead horse. Everyone has dirt on their hands, and everyone has done something wrong. Andrew Ryan is clearly a tyrant and does need to change his policies drastically if he wants to continue to run Rapture. And Sophia Lamb has taken full advantage of these people in a very desperate situation, so it's just more of the same.
Me and Mr. Ryan.
The blue morpho bounces off the glass as I watch. I fold these paper effigies as secret badges for the faithful. The morpho caterpillar doesn't spin a cocoon. It just grows armor on the inside before the change. It is us. To wear a butterfly is to support Dr. Lamb and the family. Before long, Rapture will split wide and take wing. Imago.
Gracie's room is just up ahead. Now, she's been sending all manner of unkindness your way, so I'm not particular as to how you take that key away from her, but she's old, and this grudge against you was based on a misunderstanding.
Barring Sinclair's interruption, I think I can go ahead and comment on Butterfly Man. So what he reveals is that the butterfly imagery that is now covering Rapture is not actually Sophia Lamb's doing. It's just an image she adopted from some guy who was interested in butterflies. She probably put the two and two together that the metamorphosis of a butterfly would fit her experiment very well. And since he's willing to make all of these little symbols and stuff, and symbols are very valuable for pushing some kind of weird political ideology like this, she just naturally used those because they were the best thing to fit at the time. So what we see is that much of these things are not Sophia Lamb, they're the people around her that she's manipulating into the movement. And this just shows how shapeless the collectivist movement that Sophia Lamb is championing is. She's willing to do and say anything and change the movement in any way as long as it gets her at the top and everyone else at the bottom, and as long as her ideals can be pushed forward. She's willing to do that.
And you, because there's no way the family will let you stroll out alive with that key.
That's 100. What a snap. Give Sinclair a few bucks for a load of vials and needles, then it's evenings putting these syringes together while I listen to the radio. Sell them back to Sinclair twice the price. What a racket. A few pinpricks here and there is nothing to complain about. Gonna be back on top soon. Thank you, Mr. Sinclair. Sucker.
So there we have it, the proof that Rapture was not as poor off as everyone made it out to be. This man was literally doubling his money every single time he would do a little bit of work on a daily basis, and that's awesome. That means he can get back on top very quickly. Now, I'm not accounting for the cost of him eating or how much he's actually being paid or anything like that. I'm just going based on what he's saying. According to him, he'll be back on top soon if he can just keep this racket going. What is ultimately Rapture's downfall is not its own capitalist system, but the people controlling that capitalist system who are, frankly, going against it. Ryan's going against it. They're all going against it. Everyone's playing these games and mechanizing when they should be, honestly, just getting back to real work.
I got in a fight with a dog eater today. His name is Amir, and he was picking on a smaller boy. We called a truce when his nose went red. But Mum says I'm becoming a barbarian. So I said, Eleanor, eat dog now too. Barbarian. Happy. And Mom said, they only think they're happy because they're selfish and ignorant. Eleanor, think ignorant sound like fun.
This is interesting. They've actually written Eleanor to be a truly above average and impressive child. The ability to go out and punch a Nazi and fight something that is obviously evil, like, one kid picking on another kid, that's easy. Any child can do that. What's impressive is that she called a truce with the kid she was just attacking and assaulting. They were throwing blows, and they called a truce and made peace. That is truly an impressive thing, and many adults can't do that. But of course, Sophia Lamb, being the ignorant person she is, just proclaims that nope, no one's happy, no one has any say of their own, only my way, only me. But they are actually writing Eleanor to be exactly what Sophia Lamb describes her as, and that's an above-average child who clearly is born to lead the world in some fashion. So it's actually quite impressive that they wrote that. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Empty house. Only an echo to my name. Eleanor. Baby, where are you? I turned my back and someone took you. It happened so quick. I'm not even a half mama to you, girl. I couldn't protect you. This poster of Dr. Lamb in my room is staring me down like it knows I'm ashamed. I've always been loyal to your real mother, Eleanor. Always trusted her with my secrets. But I lost you. What will the doctor think of me now?
Okay, this is a really weak point of the game for me. I wish it would stop babying me on the puzzles. Would you just let me figure something out for myself?
I know what you're here for. Go on, take it. I won't have you touching me. Dr. Lamb trusted me to care for her child. And I tried. But baby Eleanor disappeared. And then one day, I see her walking with you, looking wrong. And when I tried to hold her, you knocked me down. Broke my jaw. So I'm ready, baby snatcher. Come on in and finish the job.
Your call, friend. Gracie's unarmed, for what it's worth.
So this one's pretty easy. Most of what I can attribute to her being a bad person is just her being ignorant of what's going on around her. And that's really not something you can fault her with because she's dealing with so much other traumas at the moment. Ultimately, her grudge against me is just the result of her thinking that the Big Daddies kidnapped the little sisters and that's how they're made, but that is fantastically wrong. Also, she is either ignorant or complacent in stopping Sophia Lamb from doing literally the same thing she is accusing me of doing. But there's no proof to show that she is aware of that. So I'm going to choose life. She's going to live, and I'm just going to let it go.
To hell with you then. Go on.
You're a bigger man than I am, Chief. Maybe next time she'll think twice about pointing fingers before all the facts are in. Now, let's be on our way. Eleanor's waiting.
You had me under a gun, yet you just walk away? No monster alive turns the other cheek. No monster does that. A thinking man does that. I know that Dr. Lamb is no liar, but she's got to be wrong about you. Doesn't seem right now, letting you walk into that bushwhack waiting outside. I can't call off the family, but I can whisper a bit and improve your odds. These whirlybirds are custom jobs by an old friend. I'm afraid this is all I can do for now.
All you fucking shit.
Survival of the fittest. That's the rule in the drop. The only rule. These numbskulls can't see the potential in leftover traces of sports boost, armored shell, tonics for increasing muscle mass and density. Oh, but I see the king of the jungle. First field trial of my new formula. Subject, Hartwig Leo. Right. Here goes.
So, there's the backstory for where the big meathead splicers come from. They come from that dude who lived here in Papa's Drop. And that's pretty much it. I'm actually perfectly satisfied with getting that as an explanation for where these big meatheads come from.
By sparing grace, do you seek to gain my trust? A feeble ruse. Your crocodile tears may poison her with doubt, but I am not so easy a mark.
Just take that override key and slot it into the control box in the ticket booth there. That'll open the gates.
I would say that is probably it for Papa's Drop. I can't imagine going back in for anything else, so I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching. I realize these videos are very long, but the levels in Bioshock 2 are very long, so I think it kind of balances itself out. And for now, I'm going to be saying bye-bye.
Hop on, kid, and start the train. Don't make me pull the whistle now.
Hear me, O ye who would murder the Lamb of God! Ye shall never reach her God!